Hello, I'm Sean Hoddy and this is another edition of Lockdown Aikido. So in our last video we were practicing the Koryu Dai Yon and we finished on technique Yushiro Waza Kotogashi. So just as a little recap, what happens, Uki is reaching with their right hand to my right wrist. At this point they start to come round to take my left wrist with their left hand. So at this point I move forward, grasping their wrist, and then I throw with a Kotogashi. So once again, so as they start to reach, I move forward, keeping this hand on my thigh. And what this does, if we look at this, what this does, this throws them off balance. At this point here, I grasp their wrist. So we're here grasping their wrist, turn, and I apply the Kotogashi, finishing in a nice posture. So following on from that, that was on the right side. Now we're doing technique on the left side. And this is called Juji Garami Nagi. So once again, Uki is grasping my wrist. So they're grasping my left wrist with their left hand. And they're going to come round and grasp my right wrist with their right hand. So as I do that, I move forward, coming up the centre line. So up the centre. This hand here then drives back. Thumb down on my left hand, thumb up on my right hand, and from here now I'm doing a Juji Garami, which is like a cross. So we're going to a cross type throw. So they're crossing their arms over. So from this angle, as they take, I step. I maintain this on my hip and move back, using my legs to create basically long arms. And then from there, we go to the Juji Garami. So what I'm actually doing is crossing their arms like so. And then from there, we move forward and throw. So, from this angle, as they start to come round, I move. So I'm going up to the centre line. From here, this now comes over my head, this draws back, drawing them off posture. My posture's slightly turned, so I've got the centre line there, then I'm throwing. So from this side, as they grasp, we move forward, back, throw. So from there as they take, up to the centre line. At this point we're coming up, drop low. This causes their balance to go. From here now, stretching those arms, we apply the technique. So we're throwing with cross arms like so. So next technique is basically similar type of movement to that. This time they're going to grasp my right wrist with their right hand and they're going to come round and strangle using the cloth. And it needs to be come round to a committed strangle. So the first things we need to do as we move, we need to put our chin down. Because if they apply the strangle and our head's up, we're going to go out. So, from there, drop that chin in. Again, centre line, drop that chin in. From here, big movement back. If you look, thumbs in the air, that's applying a Kotomawashi. This hand now comes to the elbow and we drive away. in an osh type of technique. So from here, there's tentai osh, nagi as such, we're throwing away. So from here, as they're grasping, we're moving forward, coming to the centre line. From here, we're moving back, grasping, kotomo washi grip. Right. So a kotomo washi grip is, if you imagine that's the wrist, so the hand is in this position. This is the elbow. And we're throwing. This is why it's important to get these thumbs to move. So we need to get, as we come up, we need to get this thumb to drop. That will automatically fall into the kotomo washi. As we come up with this elbow, we drive through. This comes long arms here. This is driving through on the elbow. So from here we're moving forward, one, back, big movement, drive through, and then rolling away. One to the front, so from here we're moving, back, drive away. Always long arms with Aikido. So the next technique is called Tentai Haji Garami. It's basically a Tenkai Kotenari and Kotegashi combined technique. So we've just done this on the right, so this time replicating exactly the same move on the other side. So Uki is going to take my left wrist with their left hand and come round and strangle using their right hand to come across and take the cloth. Now with this technique we must get our chin in because they're actually coming round and starting to apply. So as we do the technique, we drop, putting our chin in. Now for purposes of the video I'm going to keep my chin up because I can't speak very well with my chin in. But those who have studied judo or any form of grappling will understand, you know, if there's shimiwaza in their grappling system, if your neck is exposed, you're going to be strangled out. So, chin in, moving forward, applying the Tenkai grip. From here, Tenkai's going on, chin in obviously, as I say, having to bring it up to speed. From here now, their other hand's holding this, so we step back here. So we've got their arms, or their hand is committed holding this cloth. So we've got the Tenkai grasp on, and that's at arm's length. This allows me now to take the Kotegashi grip and throw Uki away. So from this angle, we come around to the left side, coming round the back of me to strangle. So what that will be, if I'm here, they're coming round to strangle. As they do that, drop the head, step back. Their grasp is still on, so Tenkai is doing that to them. Their grasp is still on here. So it's easy then to take for the Kotegashi and throw. Now what is important with this technique is, as we move forward, let's say, chin on, or got our chin down, that's very important. But as we move, it's getting this Tenkai grip, and as we turn with the Tenkai, it's not just turn and hold, it's turn, step back, but keeping the pressure on there. So there's pain compliance out there. That allows me to stretch, make distance to drive through with a throw. So from the front, it's very important to maintain that arm's length distance all the time. One, yes, so we're there, tune in, very important, tune in, from here, and stepping back, Tenkai grasp. So we've got them there, yeah, Tenkai grasp, coming down, apply the Kotegashi. So we've got the Kotegashi, the Tenkai Koteneri. So from there, 1, 2, 3. Again, finishing nice posture. So the next technique we're doing are Kachimuchi techniques. So Kachimuchi means they're going for the lapel, or the sleeve rather, the sleeve. So, as they're coming towards the sleeve, this is a Tsukanagi. So as they're coming towards the sleeve, what I'm basically doing is keeping them going in the same direction. So you have to bear with me because of the lack of room. So as they grasp, I move. And I'm stretching, so I'm grasping their forearm. Forearm. So their forearms there. My front leg now, which is my right leg, moves across at this angle. Here, feet together. So now, this is stretching their arm. My feet are together. At this point, obviously all in one movement, at this point now, I drop onto my right knee and I'm scooping up their leg with my left hand. So from here we do it slowly, so from here, 1. Yeah, so we're breaking it, Kill-Climber Kozushi, we're coming forward from here, 1. Kozushi's there. This foot now needs to go this way, and I turn my hips. At that point, feet are together. This is their arm there, so if you can imagine, I'm grasping their right arm. And at this point, the weight of me falling, scooping, throws them away. So, the movement from here as they grasp is 1, 2. At that point then, it's like a seesaw, I'm balancing. At that point there, I'm dropping and I'm scooping, dropping and scooping. So scooping that inside of the leg all together. You have to bear with me on this one, it's very hard to do without an uke. Because the weight of the uke keeps your balance until you drop, and you're basically doing a sacrifice of your posture. And that's why we're not just kneeling down, we're actually doing this type of movement where we're coming round and dropping. Okay, Ryoti Muchi Uki Otoshi, which is a two-handed grasp. So they're grasping as they're coming forward, we're stepping, scooping and turning. So as we're sort of drawing them on. So from here, drawing them on. Again, this is a very hard technique to do without an uke, but it's about drawing them on. Yes, drawing this movement on. So at this point, we're moving, scoop, this comes down, this scoops the inside of the leg, and we throw. We finish in posture. Again, very hard to show without an uke. What I'd give to do Aikido with an uke at the moment. But from here, so we're moving, scooping, throwing. So from the front, as they grasp, we don't want to be bending our arms, using it, stepping back from here. Then we use our arms to scoop and throw. So it's very hard to demonstrate correctly without an uke. Okay, so the last technique in the Koryu Dai Yon is Katamuchi Tenkai Koto Gash. So again, they're grasping this shoulder. Now a lot of people miss the point on this technique. A lot of people go back into the technique and lose what we're doing. So what we should be doing is catching. At this point, use your hips to draw off posture. So from here, catch, use your hips, draw off posture, turn, and then we throw with a koto gash, but we let it slip slightly, so we're not really forcing a vicious lock on. So from here, catch. Now the footwork is this, bringing this foot forward to here, because I want to maintain that momentum. And then as I turn, maintain the momentum all the way through. So as you can see, I haven't really got a lot of room, but it's a bit like Hiki Otoshi, we're keeping that movement going. So with this technique, it's about one, catching, so he's driving forward, so we help him drive forward. We maintain that movement. But to maintain that movement, rather than step in, as we see a lot of people do, you've got to step through and come out. So with their right arm, they're grasping, catch, step, hips, locking. And we keep moving until they fall. Just keep that a continuous pull, as I say, like more like Hiki Otoshi, and a turning koto gash. So if we think what we've done, Shira was on gash, Juji Garami Nagi, Tenkai Oshite Osh, Tentai Haji Garami, so here, stepping, throwing, Katamuchi Senkyunagi, so this is the grasp, so from here, 1, 2, 3, and go. Ryotimuchi Ukiyo Toshi, so from here, throw. Katamuchi Tenkai Koto Gash, so from here, step, throw. Okay, so that concludes my session today. I'm Sean Hoddy, this is Lockdown Aikido. Hopefully you enjoy our videos. We will be loading these up onto YouTube very shortly, and I'll do these as a lockdown playlist for the future. Obviously we're in turmoil, where we're in lockdown, no clubs, very few clubs in the UK are practicing. What we're starting to do, we're starting to preempt what's going to happen. So we're putting together all of our marketing, various posters. Once we are post-COVID and we can actually advertise and run classes properly. I'm going to start doing schools Aikido, and then from there we're going to advertise in the schools and use that as a area to fill our clubs up. And hopefully you can follow a very similar model. And I will do some videos on marketing Aikido in the future. Okay, thank you very much.